And then there are dynasties before the dynasty. Our guest here today has the distinction of being on the dynasty before the dynasty. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
My name is Danny Lovell from Union County High School.
And you are a two-time state wrestling champion for Union County. This is your 1985 state championship match review. And before we go on a little bit farther, I said the dynasty before the dynasty. Most people in Kentucky wrestling are familiar with like the 07 era forward. And if you know anything about wrestling, you know, some of just, you know, the Irvins, Elams of the world, Bryce Schaefer's of the world, your Rainey's of the world. I mean, we could go on, Jace Carr's of the world. We go on and on and on and on and on with the names. But you guys had your own dynasty back in the 80s.
Yes, sir. Well, back in the 80s, the big team was the 1980 team. They broke all sorts of records that year. And actually, Robert Irvin was on that team also. So the Irvins were back then, too, in 76. State championship team on through when I wrestled high school.
It's as of this filming, we're filming this in September of 2023. Union County has the overall team championship lead with 14. The first state championship was in 76. I think it said Tim was on that team, Tim Irvin.
Yes, sir.
Then you guys went and won it in 1980, 1982, and then there's a gap from 82 to 07.
Right.
And that the 07 forward, 07, 08, 2011, 2014, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. So 14 team state championships. Union County, as of this filming, has 74 individual state championships. You account for 2 of those. That's the #1 team title ranking and the #1 individual state championships. So kind of for the people that don't know, how did wrestling in Union County back in your high school days, had wrestling always been there in Union? It just kind of exploded in from 76 to 82. What kind of walk us through that?
Right. It first started in the early 70s. Loader Thomas, Mike Thomas, was actually the coach. He was my coach all through my high school career, except for my senior season, which Tim Irvin took over the team.
Okay.
And back then we weren't known as Union County Braves. We was known as the Loaders Rollers. Everything that we had was Loaders Rollers on our uniforms.
I got you.
There's some uniforms out there with the UC, but a lot of them had the Loaders Rollers logo on it. But really, it took off in 76 whenever they won a state championship, and then the 80 team just blew it wide open. That's when we started in our feeder programs. We started getting a lot more kids active within in wrestling. You know, they broke all sorts of records, and it's just like the kids of today. They see the great teams coming up through there. They want to be part of that. So
I completely understand. So you graduate high school in 85. The 76 team wins it. You're probably in that's 9 years. You're in elementary school. Mm-hmm. Like, do you get to go and watch any of the meets, the duels there at Union County, or?
Well, actually, I started wrestling in 77.
Okay.
I was in the 5th grade. My friend, good friend Jared Rudd, got me involved. He's a 2-time state champion for Union County. And I always thought he got me involved so he could beat up on me. But actually, we got on, started in the feeder program and was wrestling up through the ranks. And he said, and I think it was our 7th grade year, he said, let's go wrestle with the high school. And I thought he was crazy. You know, that was the 80 team. I said, there's no way we're going to be able to wrestle with these guys. They got Jane Bow, they got Robert, you know, they got the Gibson boy, Mark Hine, all them great wrestlers. Well, we did, and we ended up wrestling JV, you know, so it wasn't bad. And then the following year, after that year, I made the team as an 8th grader.
That's awesome, man. That's, you know, it's in doing this series, what we have found is there's little pockets of wrestling around the state, and not necessarily like the whole city of Louisville didn't have wrestling. There was little schools that had it. You know, your Trinities that maybe had, your St. X, your Easterns. I think Jerry Whalen goes into great detail in his about that. The Louisville Central, Northern Kentucky. You know, there was a couple little pockets right there close to Cincinnati, but it, you know, I guess the old saying, you know, what you do today pays off tomorrow. And you guys finally breaking that glass ceiling in 76, winning it, 80 winning it, 82 winning it. There was a little bit of a lull there from to 07, but still the foundation was there. People knew, and Union County knew, hey, we can wrestle in Union County and we can win state championships in Union County. Right. And that's just a phenomenal way to build a program. And Union County, I mean, if you ask just the casual Kentucky high school sports fan, if you just said the word Union County, they would probably say first wrestling, second probably Dwayne Casey. Am I right about that?
You're right. You're right.
That because even like, you know, we go to football games, go wherever, even like some Kentucky football games, you'll see some people wearing Union County, not even Union County wrestling, just Union County whatever. Like, the wrestling, I see them all the time on Facebook, or, you know, they have those kids, those twins out there that wrestle. And you just kind of want to sit back and be like, you know, I can tell you all about the twins. I can tell you all about Union County. What do you want to know? But, you know, it's just great that you guys have such a brand awareness. Those colors are so distinct. That Columbia blue, I believe it's called, the red, that white is just so just, you know, you're at a wrestling tournament when you see that walk in. You know, this is the state tournament, the state duels, whatever. This is a big time event if Union County shows up. Right. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
We got a great tradition here. You know, the community has been phenomenal since I was a little kid up to now. You know, community has backed the program. It's unbelievable. Even if their kids not even involved in the program, they're there.
And this past summer, you know, you had Jordan and Jaden both compete, Fargo freestyle and Greco. Then the other Rainey went to, I think it was Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Istanbul,
and he won the under 17 world championships, and they had like a parade for him downtown there. I was like, man, that is a community embracing its high school athletics. I mean, it truly is. It really is. And I've only been to Union County one time in the September of 2020. We were all locked up with COVID and all that kind of stuff. And I just bought a drone. I just started really getting into video production. And I was like, daggone it, I've got to do something. I got to get out of my house. So I went around the entire state and I took my drone and I flew it to around every tri-point. And my travel took me to Union County. And I stayed in some hotel there, right, I think by like a Taco Bell, if I'm not mistaken, a little place on the side of the road.
Right by
the next morning, the GPS took me way out into a cornfield. I'm talking way out in the middle of nowhere on the banks of like I guess that would be what, the Mississippi River or the Ohio River. And I flew my drone over, and there's like a, where Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky all come together right there. And I flew my drone over, and I was like, man, they may be on the opposite end of the state, but Union County is basically like Eastern Kentucky. It really is, minus the hills, you know, but it's basically like us, you know, small towns. Everybody seemed to know everybody. It wasn't like, like I said, I'd never been, and it was just, you know, you could have been in any town, any county in the mountains, just the way the people acted and all that. So it was cool to finally get to go out there. But your wrestling, you said you made the varsity team on the 8th grade level. So that would have been 81 season, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, did you make it to the state? Because I looked on my research and I didn't see it. I may have overlooked it, but if you didn't, I mean, if you didn't, it's no big deal.
No, it was kind of bitter for me. It took me a while to make the team because you have Jambo Smith and Robert Irvin in front of you, and they kind of bumped up where I could get to the 98-pound weight class. Yeah. And I had a pretty good district term. That's when we had district, region, and state. And if you remember, there was a wrestler from Christian County by the name of Arnold Slaughters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I wrestled him in the semifinals at the district tournament, and they were saying, watch his ankle pick. He was long. He could really ankle pick. And I ended up having him on his back in the third period for the last 30 seconds on his back. I thought it was a pin. Everybody, it is or isn't. But he ended up winning the match and ended up winning state. He done a real good job.
So 1982, you are a freshman. You're finally in high school.
Right.
And 105 pounds. I was doing my research. It says you had an undefeated. So see if you can read the tea leaves here, guys. You had a 34-0 record.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you went undefeated in your high school season. So that means you're the 1982 105-pound state champion.
Mm-hmm.
On a phenomenal team.
Oh,
absolutely phenomenal team. You, Rob Irvin, I believe James Smith was on there. I think you said you had 5 in the finals. Is that correct?
Neil Wilson and Devon Smith, actually. And then Clarence Speedy Smith, Jambo's brother, placed third that year.
Okay. And that, of course, was Union County's third overall team state championship. So 76, 80, 82, you win that many team titles in a span that short, it's a dynasty. I mean, you have set put the flag in the ground. We can do this here. We can win at Union County. But let's go over your bracket. Your first round match, you're wrestling Bill. Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna pull something out and show it to us here.
Yeah, I got that bracket right.
The original 1981 bracket that you were handed on the podium. Or I'm sorry, 82. I'm sorry, that's my bad. 1982 bracket. And it looks like it's in phenomenal shape.
It's a pretty good shape. My parents kept hold of it pretty well.
I was going to say that bracket's about 2 years older than I am. So it looked for that bracket to be a little bit older than me, it looks great. But your first round, you're wrestling Bill May from Franklin County. You win that by a fall.
Yes.
Your second round, you're wrestling Mike Hill from Louisville Seneca. You win that by a 16-3 decision. Mm-hmm. In the semifinals, you're wrestling Jeff Lawrence from Connor. You win that by a 10-2 decision.
Correct.
And then in the finals, you're wrestling Steve Russ from Louisville Trinity. You win that by a 3-1 decision. So you're a freshman, undefeated season, state championship. Yeah. That's a pretty good freshman campaign.
I had a pretty good season that year.
And also a team state championship. So you really couldn't ask much more. Right.
I wish my finals match would have been more exciting. The 3-1. Not really much happened during that match. Both of us each got to escape in the second and third period, and the rest of the time was front hand arm.
Really?
the whole time. And I ended up scoring with 15 seconds left, I believe.
Oh, wow. Now, I bring that up because we have the partial 1982. You won 105. The video picks up at 112 pounds.
Right.
So we're going to make a plea to you. We have reason to believe the entire video exists. So if you know where that's at, or this match specifically, the 1982 105-pound finals video, please reach out to me. You can reach out, I'm sure, to Dan would love, you can get your own, get the copy. We can get it converted to digital, and we can get back on here and do your 82 video. But let's kind of move on a little bit past that. 1983, I was doing my research, and I couldn't find you.
Well, what happened during 83, I done bumped up to 126. I gained a lot of weight that season. I had a hard time making weight at 105.
Yeah.
Bumped up to 126, was having a great year. And then in January, beginning week of January, we wrestled in Bloomington, Indiana. And I was wrestling a kid from up there in Indiana, and I broke a C7 in my neck.
Oh, my gosh.
So that put me out for the rest of the season.
I can imagine.
I was slated to come back the week of the state tournament, and we played with doctors, let me come back during district time. But we really didn't want to take any chances.
No, I can imagine. Mobility is a little bit more important than state championship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you did compete in '83. You just had an injury. You didn't get to compete in the postseason.
I had
Okay,
an injury in January, and I ended up wrestling freestyle in the summer
I understand.
and going to nationals. So
I got you. 1984, I got you at 126 pounds, and I I got the bracket, but I don't think you placed that year. Is that correct?
I placed sixth.
Sixth. Okay. All right.
I met Rob Hall, a good friend of mine from Fern Creek. We
Okay.
met in the finals. Both of us were outstanding wrestlers for our region, and we ended up meeting in the semifinals. And it was a great match, and he ended up on top.
I can believe that. Sometimes, man, those semifinals and quarterfinals are better than the actual finals themselves.
Right.
Sometimes, not always, but you every now and then you'll get a semifinals or quarters. You're like, oh my gosh, these two dudes are battling. But the reason that we're here today is 1985, best year ever, because that was the year I was born.
All right.
So the first round, you are wrestling Shane Mathis from Louisville, Seneca. You win that by an 11-0 decision. And I think you've got that bracket as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. These are a little bit, this one's a little bit smaller.
I was gonna say, and the design is a little bit different, but that's still, I mean, that's an iconic look right there. That went all the way through the 90s. The quarterfinals, you're wrestling Chad Mortensen from Tate's Creek out of Lexington. You win that by a pin.
Correct.
You get to the semifinals, you're wrestling Troy Newton from Lafayette, and you win that by a pin.
Correct.
And Troy goes on that year to get fifth place. You get to the finals, and you're wrestling Nick Mazzoli from Jeffersontown.
Yes.
Now, had you wrestled Jeff before? I'm sorry, not Jeff. Nick. You wrestled Jeff. I don't know where Jeff come from.
I had Jeff in my freshman semifinals.
Okay, that's maybe worked from you. Yeah, Jeff Lawrence. Okay, my bad.
Nick Mazzoli, no, I never wrestled him, never seen him wrestle. Actually, I was kind of worried about him because he was long and lanky, type wrestler. No, and I was more the short, stocky type guy. So
yeah, and I mean, in case you're watching this and you're under the age of 20, you just couldn't always get on one of these and pull up their Facebook, their Instagram, their TikTok, their whatever the kids are doing now, and see how this guy wrestles or what the record is or anything about him. You couldn't FaceTime your friends, get on Zoom. Hey, have you wrestled this Mazzoli kid from J-Town? What's he like? No, you probably. Did you watch this? Do you remember watching his semifinals? Did yours finish first? Do you remember that?
I don't remember seeing it because as soon as I finished my semifinal match, they pretty much loaded us up and took us back to the hotel to get ready.
I understand. And it's got Nick winning an 18-4 decision. Both of you guys are seniors. It says your record coming in is 30-1, and I believe it says his is either 28-2 or 23-2. I can't tell. The ink over the years has faded a little bit on the online bracket, so it's either 28-2 or 23-2. So after you win, they do load you guys back up and take you back to the hotel.
Yeah, they take us back, they feed us, and we come back for the finals weighing probably 15 pounds heavier than what we weighed in.
Yeah, and a lot of people have said that exact same thing. Different schools, different years, especially when it was at Frankfurt and everybody stayed there in the big Hilton or Holiday Inn, whatever it was, that big tower where everybody would just walk across the skywalk and go up and go to the room. Now, as of this filming, last Christmas, we done the 12 Days of Chris Matz, and I put your video on there because it's such a good match. And before that, had it been a long time before you had watched it?
Oh, it's been a while. A friend of mine, Brad Hagedorn, he was a state champ that same year at 126. His dad actually filmed a bunch of our matches, and I got a hold of him, and it's been quite some time though.
Yeah.
So I got the video now.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got it on there. You're gonna have it on here, and like I said, if you get that 82 match, man, we'd have the tag team
exactly
set for you. But we are going to get our computer set here. So Union County just had a 126-pound state wrestler win. I think his name was Brad Hagedorn. So you just watched. I'm sure he was your practice partner.
Yes, he was. Yes,
and
he was.
you just watched your practice partner win. So you're a senior. Last time you're going to get to wear that Union County Braves across your chest. That very familiar color combination. So it's business as usual for you. You're back in the state finals, man. Let's go back to Atherton, 1985. Here we come. So right out of the whistle, or off the whistle, I should say, you take him down. Pretty easy takedown. You lift, return.
It was hard to keep on him mad. He's getting as long as he was.
He looks to be, just from this video, looks to be around, I don't know, 6 foot, maybe a little bit taller. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, because I'm only 5'5".
Got a caution. Got a caution. And if you're noticing, the referees aren't wearing wristbands. They're, just pointing at the wrestlers. First time I saw a video without wristbands, I was like, what are we doing here, guys? Nice trip and return right there.
I really didn't know how I was going to keep him on the mat besides put in a crossbody ride. Because he was standing up every time.
Was that something that you normally done, or you just had to break it out for this match?
I rode legs a lot.
Okay.
Season.
I got you.
Not very many people back then did.
I was going to say, it was a rarity. So I think the referee called a stalemate there. So do you remember who's in your corner here?
I got Tim Irvin, and it's Joe Bob Rudd.
Okay.
Joe Bob was actually a state champ also the previous season.
He's trying for that deep switch right there. You step over. Nice scramble right there. You hardly ever saw scrambles like that back in this era.
No, back then it was hard nose. It was more brutal, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here I am. I'm really not knowing what to go to. I could hear Eddie Person. Remember Eddie Persons from
yeah, absolutely. Hoptown.
He's in that top right corner up there yelling at me. I could hear him throughout the match.
He wins most outstanding this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he does. He does.
We know it. The last however many years, Union County has had by far the biggest crowd at the state tournament, and they're probably the farthest away. Did you guys bring a big crowd this year? 85?
It was huge. Back off to your bottom right they were in that back corner. We used to have things called clappers. They were wooden blocks they would use.
Okay. So at the start of the second period, you're up 2-0. You get your escape there. So it's now 3-2.
We just got to take down. I got lazy once I got up and let him shoot in up under me.
All right, we're out. We're out. Now, on the bottom, were you just like, I got to get up quick as I can. I'm looking for this guy to make a mistake. What are we doing on the bottom?
Mainly, I should be standing up. But with him, I was trying to control hands.
That's smart. Hey, hand control, man, that's a lost art. It really is.
Control hands and then try to get up.
Just like you're doing right there. We're out. We're out. If you know who these referees are, guys, put them in the comments because I'm not sure who they are. I'm not familiar. There you go. Trying a little.
He's always trying to try my head and arm.
And man, 1985 had some great wrestling. You had Dave Ritchie from Caldwell County.
Right. Dave's a really good friend of mine. He's a 3-timer.
Yep. And Dave's 85 and 86 videos are on the channel. We're still looking for the 1984 video, but man, Western Kentucky wrestling was the show back then, man.
Well, back
All the
then,
way around Western Kentucky. You had Hopkinsville, team title, 80 persons, most outstanding. I mean, just you, Dave Ritchie. I mean,
we were
just crazy.
then. No, you had your district, region, and state back then. And we had a tough district. We had Hoptown, Christian County, Fort Campbell, us, Trigg County. They had some good wrestlers. Ralph Stevens out of that.
Yeah, Ralph. Yep.
That group. Fort Campbell was tough.
Mm-hmm.
So we said if you get out of our district, we was going to get out of our region and get to state.
Yeah, I can believe that. So right there, he's trying like an armor. I guess you call it head and arm ride, or depends on what part of the world you're from. They call it different things. But he's trying to use that like a head lever and turn you over, but you're having none of it. You get to your feet. Good balance there on one leg. That's a good drill, kids. Right there, if you can do that, you're doing something.
We'll try to get his head on the other side. I can do it now. I think there's like 15 seconds left, or three seconds left.
Okay.
Set out. At the buzzer.
Did you get a point right there?
I got a point.
Okay, yeah, and you can see him trying to wave it off. That's why you never stop till the whistle, guys. You always go till the buzzer.
I believe it said 3 seconds left, and did it set out.
All right, so try to lift again, man. He's tall, long legs.
It was hard to control him, and I never get called for stalling, but in this match I did.
We're out. That's his coaches, I imagine.
Yes, that's his coaches.
There's something at the end of the video or at the end of the match that
Jim Irvin.
Lift. Try to kick that leg out. That's smart right there. Very smart maneuver. Were you trying like for that Merkle right there when you lace that outside leg?
I was trying, but we get spun around here, and I come back up underneath the arms. Right here, I stick that leg in again. I come up underneath both arms, and he calls me for stalling right here. Take my arm back up underneath this near side.
Yep.
I get called stalling.
Should have given you a little bit more time to work, but that's my opinion.
I was like, okay.
Nice lift right there. Nice job. Nice lift.
And we're getting close to the end of the match here.
Mm-hmm.
I end up letting him go to stand up so I don't get another stalling call.
Yep.
Let him face me.
So I believe it's now.
Now it's 4-2.
4-2.
4-3.
4-3. Okay. I was gonna say, and you get a nice takedown right there. Good way to cap off the match. So it's now at 6-3.
Right. And now it's time just riding.
Yep.
We'll go for bands, I believe, here.
Just hold on and act busy, right?
Hold on, yes.
Yeah, hold on and act like you're doing something. 15 seconds left. Up 6-3. And that shot you guys just saw, the scoreboard hung up above the mat there at Atherton. So it wasn't like it is today, have mat side clocks. All right, potentially dangerous.
I remember my freshman year, Jambo Smith kept looking at the clock. I got hit for stalling.
Yeah, I can see that. Right to that ankle, tried to lift. The crowd's counting it down. There you are. And you do a back handspring. That's beautiful.
Yeah, David Ritchie outdone us. He done a back tuck, and I think Gator Herring, he done it also. So
Yep. And of course, and here's the shot of the video. Coach is picking you up. There's a young Tim Irvin, I believe.
Yeah, that's Tim Irvin. That's Brad Hagedorn and Joe Bob Rudd right there. And Jared Rudd just walked past me to go out to wrestle his match against Ernie Herring.
Okay. And this is the medal ceremony for the weight class this year.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
Yep, I was saving it as a little surprise. 132 pounds. Got a black eye, real nice shiner there. It's wrestling.
Yeah, that looks like McCade Fears.
That was Christian County.
That's Tim Huddleston right there from
Yep.
Hoptown. I haven't seen this. That's awesome.
I love the jacket you've got on.
That jacket is from my freshman year.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, they gave us those jackets for winning state. The ones that
and then one more little surprise here for you. The team trophy ceremony from 82 or 85, I should say.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys come in second this year, but still, that's a respectable place.
That's awesome.
So, man, I wanted to break those two out on you, the medal ceremony and the team trophy presentation, as a little surprise. So I'm glad we were able to have those. You've got to watch the match several times before we done this, but like when you watch it back, do you still find yourself kind of like trying to wrestle it, trying to move or whatever, trying to run that half a little bit harder?
Or I just, man, you should have done this. Get mad at yourself, but it was a great time, good part of my life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that was we were doing some of these Zoom videos, and we done Grady Peterson from 1994 and 95 from Christian County, and after we finished the session, we just kind of stand there and talk, because I never met Grady. We were going to do his in person, and he just always, he lives in Georgia, couldn't get together, and we just got talking about life and what wrestling has done and like what you've done since wrestling. So if you don't mind me asking, after you graduate, after you leave Union County, leave the mat room, I'm sure that you, like, I think you said off camera that you your daughter set up the Zoom video for you. And a lot of guys that we've met with is they're really doing this so their kids can see it, so their grandkids can see it, so their spouse now can see it. And if you ask them, what's your the greatest accomplishment in their life, everybody has said being a great dad, being a great grandfather to my grandkids, being a great husband. And then state championship isn't even in the conversation, because they would much rather be known as being a great parent, a great husband, great grandfather, whatever it is to the people that's important to them in their life, than being known as a state champion. But if you ask them about missing a takedown in the 1984, regional finals, they're going to say, God, I can't believe I didn't hit that takedown. I practiced that move 7,000 times and I didn't hit it. So after you leave high school, man, if you don't mind, like, where did life take you?
Well, right out of high school, I had a full ride scholarship to go wrestle at SIUE, Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, myself and Jared Rudd. And we went for our college visit and everything, and he signed his letter of intent. But at that time, I decided to go into the Marine Corps.
Okay.
So I didn't end up going to college right away. I went into the Marine Corps. Recruiter said, "Oh, you can wrestle for the Marines," and made it look all good and all. I said, "Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go wrestle in the Marines." Well, I didn't get to wrestle with the Marine team till I went in '85, and I wrestled with them in 1988, the same year David Ritchie wrestled for
okay.
Army team. So I was on the Army team, and he was on the All Army team at the same time.
Wow, that's awesome, man. It really is.
And it was just an unbelievable experience, because we had people like Greg Gibson, silver medalist, in the Olympics, on our team. We had Barack Benford. We had Buddy Lee, which was '92 Olympian.
Mhm.
on that team.
Was Randy Couture on Richie's team as well?
He was on Richie's team.
That's what I thought, because he had the photo of him and Richie. Dave Ritchie had him the photo, like the team photo, and I was like, man, that is so cool. And if I'm not, let's see, you, Dave Ritchie, Dominic Black from Henry Clay, 1987 state champion. He wrestled on the All Army. Grady Peterson, he enlisted, and so we've had several of our Kentucky wrestlers go on to wrestle for whatever branch of service they went into. So man, that is so cool that you was able to do that.
Right. It was kind of awkward because in the armed forces, they mainly wrestle Greco.
Okay.
And we really didn't have experience with Greco around here. And our whole team, our wrestle walks were in freestyle. We won Greco Nationals that year in '88.
Wow.
Several of us went to the final Olympic qualifier down in Boca Raton, Florida. I got to wrestle it for the '88 Olympics.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome.
Same thing, it's just unbelievable experience. And once I got out of the Marine Corps, well, I had another experience there. My first match ever, I went to a freestyle tournament. My first match was against Randy Lewis. He wrestled for Iowa.
Okay, yep, I remember that name. Yeah. So welcome to post high school wrestling, huh?
Exactly. Well, I went out there and I said, well, you just got to throw it out there. He's probably going to kill you, but ended up doing a arm throw and put him on his back. It was up 3-0. I said, I'll be darned. I might know this Kentucky kid can wrestle with these people. Well, he ended up beating me nevertheless, but
hey,
it's those type of experiences just was unreal. And after I got into the Marines, I went to SIU for a year.
When we posted your video, we're friends with Joni, Carr, Jace, John, because they're from my end of the Joni. She's from where I'm from in Johnson County, and when we posted your video, she posted something to the effect of you were the only person that could calm her down. So you got into coaching there at Union County, and
I came out and coached at Union County when Coach Walls was there in his beginning seasons. Coached for a couple of years with him. Then I moved away and coached in Michigan. But I came back, and I think it was 2008 to 2017. I helped Robert and Coach Walls and them coach.
So you were there for the I guess the second dynasty, if you will, right. Second run. Was you coaching in 2000 for Union?
No.
Okay, I was going to say you had some guy or two guys on there named George King and Monk Trowbridge. I mean,
yeah, they were beast.
Yeah, they were atomic bombs. Especially George. We're trying to get up with Monk so Monk, if you watch this, man, we're trying to reach out to you. Just holler back at me. We'd love to do your video the same way. But man, just you got in the program young, you stayed with it, you gave back to the program as somebody that's already been there now, doing this. And that's what it takes to really build a tradition, to build a dynasty, a legacy, if you will, is to, yes, go on, have your own life, start your own family, do your own thing. But if the opportunity presents itself to give back to a version of you, like when you were younger, who did you need when you were younger? Maybe you can reach out to, one kid or a family and say, hey, see, you got 2 or 3 kids, 1 boy, 2 girls, whatever it is, now that girls wrestling is adopted, and just be part of that program. Watch them grow, because there's something special, especially you guys from Union County, you know more about this than just about anybody, but there's something special about watching somebody that you babysit, that you went to their elementary matches, and then they're out like Brock going 4 or 5-peat in 2014, or whoever it may be, Bryce Schaefer in 2017, whoever it is that you watched their first practice, and you're thinking, oh, well, maybe this isn't the sport for them. And then they're out there, winning it 4 times in a row, winning it 5 times in a row, competing. Like, I think Stephen Little now is wrestling Division I somewhere. Am I right about that?
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, just being able to watch the youngsters that you help shape grow into, to men and ladies on the mat is just something that's one of the great things about high school athletics. No matter what sport it is, football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, track and field, swimming and diving, even, band, whatever your sport is, whatever your activity is, be the best at it.
Exactly.
Be the best and enjoy it. So, Dan, man, thanks for being on here. Do you have anything you'd like to add to wrap this one up, put a bow on it?
No, it's just I know a lot of older people. Dave Ritchie and I talk quite often. Jared Rudd and I talk. Jared just got inducted to the Hall of Fame here in Union County Friday night or Saturday night.
That's cool.
We all talk about the past, and I think David thinks he could wrestle with the Randy boys.
Okay, yeah,
he probably could.
Yeah, I need to be there. That's a video that I need to. If it ever happens, I need to be there. I need to be front and center.
David was a phenomenal wrestler. He was great. But wrestling's evolved so much from the time when we wrestled to now, and it's just so much fun to watch. My dad goes to every match.
Does he?
Oh, he loves it. He goes to every match. So
that's awesome, man.
I just like to see these programs in Kentucky keep growing and getting bigger and bigger because we got some great wrestlers within our state. And not just in Union County, but all over the state.
And that was something that we met with Kyle Rochelle, his 2004 and 2005 videos. His 2005 video was my video number 200 for the series, and he's head coach now at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and I asked him about Kentucky wrestling, and he said the same thing. Everybody we've talked to that's competed outside of the state have said, Kentucky wrestling, we can do it. We're there. We may not have the depth like your Iowas, your Pennsylvanias, your Michigan, some of the other your bigger states. But as far as our state champions, state runner-ups, even like the third place, we're as good as anybody.
They can wrestle with anybody.
We can wrestle with anybody. Austin Myers, Stephen Myers from Campbell County, they competed on some Team Kentuckies, and they were doing duels. They said they had won some national level duels, got third place at some bigger tournaments. But man, Kentucky wrestling, we can do it here. Jordan and Jaden Rainey. I mean, right now they're the face of Kentucky wrestling, doing what they done. There's others, yes, so don't bash on me for not mentioning your team, your school, your kid. But this is a Union County video. Jordan and Jaden Rainey, man, they're the tops. I mean, they're the face of Kentucky high school wrestling right now. And with this series is Kentucky high school wrestling has the biggest, the largest online presence of any sport in high school. Bigger than Kentucky basketball, bigger than Kentucky football, baseball, whatever. And we're the most available wrestling state. You go look for any other state, you look for their state championships, you look for what we're doing with this series for any other state, guess what? You're not going to find it. It's not there because it doesn't exist. We were the first. We have the most notoriety. We have the most visibility, and that's the way it should be.
Right.
We don't come second place to nobody.
That's right. Well, we just really appreciate everything you've done for us. It's been outstanding. Well,
man, and thank you for saying that. I greatly appreciate that. I really do. It's been a labor of love. It has. It's just been such if you're from Union County, you might be able to pick this up, but we talked to somebody earlier today before we got on that was on top of the podium 5 times, and he is chomping at the bit to do his videos. We're going to do them in person. So he's away from where he normally lives. When he gets back to where he lives, we're going to be meeting up, and we're going to be adding 5 videos of just one person on the channel. So
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, you and me both. That's why I told him. I think we're both equally excited to get on here and do it just because of who this person is, what they were able to do, and the notoriety this person also brought to Kentucky as well. But man, that's all that I have. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. We finally got together and got your got your story on the channel, and we'll say it one more time. If you have the 1982 state finals complete, especially the 105-pound match, let us know. Let Dan know. We can get it converted from DVD, from VHS tape. We just need the footage. But that's all that I have from 1985. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys on the mats.